Thanks.
Okay, I'd like to call this meeting to order. Please stand and salute the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing for the meeting silence.
Mrs. Brett, here, Mrs. Hill, here, Mr. Anderson, Mr. Hill,
Okay, I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's meeting. This is our voting meeting for the month of September. What am I saying? Okay, May, never mind. Purpose of tonight's meeting is to vote on agenda items that were discussed at last week's work session. So tonight's meeting goes pretty fast. If any of you hang around for it, it's mainly voting. We go fairly fast because we have a week to think about it and ask questions on the agenda. There is time left at the end of the meeting for any questions for non-agenda items. With that, recognition of meetings, we had May 14th, 2025, regular meeting of the board. April 9th, 7 to 7:22, regular meeting of the board. May 7th, 2025, 7 to 8:18, board work session, and 8:24 to 9 o'clock executive session. We'll move on to item 2, private promises. We have 2 of them tonight. This is Koziski and Miss Wilby. I know that name pretty good. So Miss Conrad or Columbus.
You're gonna go first. Okay, well, I get to go first. We nominated Lowen Willoughby as one of our Pride and Promise Award winners. Basically, we wanted to award our 2 Spartan warriors here. Little bit about Lowen. Lowen is 8 years old. Everybody knows Lowen. There is not one person in the area that does not know who she is. And you know when she's in the building because her smile is just so infectious. And I can't start my day off without a hug from Lowen, right? At the age of 3, Lowen was diagnosed with a very large, rare brain tumor. I'm going to give you the initials, JPA. How do you say that? I couldn't.
juvenile hyacinthidtic astrocytoma.
That. She also has hypermobility Ehlers-Danlos syndrome. She's endured so many chemotherapy treatments while other kids her age as toddlers were out experiencing their toddler years, but yet she still enjoyed her toddler years. Her family has made sure that she has had a normal childhood life so far. Mom is here, Crystal. I'm assuming Dad is at a game. Jake is at a game with AJ, Austin, and big brother Steven, the oldest, is here. When Lowen started kindergarten, she was very excited and eager to be in school with her friends and her big brothers. I know she looks up to them a lot. She often became tired through those years, especially her kindergarten year through her treatments, but that never dulled that smile. That same year, Crystal Mom wrote this amazing book, Lowen Leads the Way. I wanted to bring my copy and I couldn't because my daughter actually had it at school. So I had to go to Mrs. Shoup's class and take it off of her shelf because of course she had it on her shelf. This year, Lowen's in 3rd grade. You may have seen her on the sides of the football field. She cheers with the big girl. She's an honorary cheerleader. Recently, she underwent a craniotomy and a lobectomy, which was just amazing. 2 days after surgery, she was released from the hospital, which in my mind is just unheard of. Excuse me. She was released, and just 2 weeks after surgery, she was back at school with us. So she's back at school for half days on days that she can tolerate, and she is doing fantastic. May is Brain Tumor Awareness Month, and I actually stole this from the Facebook page that Mom posted. Since her diagnosis, Lowen has had over 31 EEGs, 42 MRIs, 125 lab draws, approximately 836 provider visits and consults. Lowen spends approximately 50% of the year at some sort of a medical appointment. When you meet Lowen, you would have no idea other than seeing maybe something physically is causing her to slur, which she doesn't even slur her words as much anymore. She's courageous, she's brave, she's resilient, she's joyful, she's kind, she's loving, she's spunky, and she is determined. And we are very honored to give her our Pride in Wellness Award. Lowen, this is for you. Our Club Hope here at the high school put this together for her. It says, "You make our school a brighter place to be. Stay strong and continue to shine bright." Lowen, would you like to tell them anything about yourself? I miss telling them your dog's name. Penny, right? Yeah. Oh, you're growing plants right now too. Are you doing a garden? Yeah, so she's growing plants. And Mr. Lake's not here, so I made her an honorary.
Well, we're very proud of you all, so enjoy your award. Anything more?
We had a scan today and it was clear, so you got 6 months.
Well, I have the pleasure of presenting this award to Ms. Kay. And because you go, I can say it took me a while, but I just want to, Ms. Kay has worked at Laurel for 17 years. I actually had to clarify that today. She worked 34 years in a doctor's office and scheduled surgeries. She then decided that she was going to retire and is now and has worked at Laurel as a paraprofessional both at the high school and the elementary school. She works with all of our special needs students. She is just the strongest person. She has wonderful relationships with all of our students, all of our staff, all of our friends, and we would not know what to do without her. Even during this current battle, she comes to work whenever she can because this is her passion. Laurel's an important part of her life, and she is an important person to us. And so it is my pleasure to present this very strong, amazing woman with our Pride in Wellness Award. Candle, because you make our school a brighter place.
Thank you. I appreciate it. If I could say a few words, please. First of all, I want to, you started to introduce me. My name's Debbie Kosciuszko. I live here in Newcastle. I've been married to that man, Bill Kosciuszko, for 45 years. Oh, I knocked him up a while. I have 2 children, Amy, who is a school psychologist for Newcastle District. She's 40. My son is 30. Thank you. And he's a retinal photographer for a retinal specialist down in Swicker. Okay. I worked in orthopedics for 34 years. I retired, got my paraprofessional certification from Clarion, which brought me here 17 years ago. And it was the kids and this staff that brought me back year after year after year. I formed not only a working team with these people, but a working family. So that when I was diagnosed with my terminal illness back in August, this family took over. They took over with love and support that only a family can give. I was told by my oncologist that the very last place I should be working is an elementary school setting because of the germs and more germs. But in my heart, I knew that it was the only place that I wanted to be and that I could be. It's been the best medicine for me. Don't you agree, Lowen? Isn't it the best medicine to be at school? Yes, yes, I know. For me too. You have no idea the gift and the blessing that you have in that elementary building and every single employee that works there. So I ask you, I implore you to be proud of that, to acknowledge that, to appreciate that. You don't necessarily need to wait till someone gets sick to show it, show your appreciation. Show it often. Encouragement and support to a working staff goes a long way, and it usually doesn't cost a dime from your budget. In closing, a little note about the surrounded theme. I have it tattooed on my back down. I always told my kids that the secret to happiness isn't necessarily success or money. It's surrounding yourself with good people. The last 10 months of my life has been living proof of my surrounded theory. Here at Laurel, I have been and continue to be surrounded by some of the best people that God has put on this earth. Your very own staff at Laurel Elementary. I am forever grateful for the opportunity to have worked here for the past 17 years. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I'll continue as long as you'll let me. So I thank you from the bottom of my heart for this recognition.
At this time, if I could take both of you out into the hallway, I'd love to get a picture of you two together so we can hang it on our wall.
I do want to say something. Mrs. Downing, I saw her putting up that large picture on the wall the other day, and I asked her what it was for. And the students asked if they could make Lowen a picture because she came back. And that is their love for her. So I just wanted to point that out, why there was a big drawing on the wall, because that was for Lowen from her peers. That was for Lowen in front of me. You want to come with me?
And next we have Mr. Jackson Sauter, who is going to do a presentation this evening. I'm going to let him stand up here, so.
I know. We record if everybody wants to see your Jackson too.
So I'm probably gonna go work up here, that way in front of the camera.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so I just want to say thank you guys for this amazing opportunities to the school board members and administration. So a little bit about what I had to do. This was the oratorical speech competition through the American Legion. So what I had to do was create 5 speeches, and they all had to consist about the Constitution. The main speech had to be between 8 to 10 minutes long. And so I decided to do about being an empowered citizen, and I gave it into like a sports aspect because I enjoy playing sports. So I talked about knowing the Constitution, exercising the right to vote, and being involved in your local government, those 3 aspects. And then the other 4 speeches were assigned topic speeches that the American Legion had me do, and that was to do the First Amendment, the 7th, 18th, and 26th. So during the actual competition, I only give 2 speeches, the main speech and one of the other 4 speeches. The other 4 speeches are 3 to 5 minutes long. So yeah, So I really enjoyed it. I felt like I learned a lot about the Constitution and how to public speak in general. And I feel like I really enjoy history in general, so I thought this was right up my alley. And yeah, thank you guys again for this amazing opportunity. So this week I will be going to nationals in Hillsdale College, Michigan, and that will be from the 16th to the 18th. So yeah.
Thank you.
Imagine with me for a minute, you're watching your favorite sporting event on TV. What sport would you like to watch? You're totally into the game that you begin to think about the plays and what you would do if you're alongside the athletes. Suddenly, the team that you're cheering for is losing. The game is getting out of hand, and you're upset, yelling at the TV. As a fan, you wish that you could be out there helping instead of just watching from the couch. This sports analogy goes hand in hand with being an empowered citizen. If you want to be a game changer and have a say in your country's performance, then you have to be in the game and help. Team USA. Ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. It's a powerful quote from President John F. Kennedy. His famous line inspired Americans to contribute to the public good and civil action. An empowered citizen is well-informed, productively engaged for the common good, and hopeful for the future of democracy. Some people may feel called up America by serving in the military or running for public office. But what about the average American citizen? What can they do to contribute to the betterment of our democracy? How can they get in the game? In this speech, I'll mention 3 ways any American can become an empowered citizen. That is, to know the rule book, the Constitution, exercise the right to vote, and to be involved in your local government. First things first, before you play any game, you have to know the rules. The Constitution serves as a rule book for how the country runs. It outlines the framework of our government, defining the powers and limitations of each branch, while safeguarding our individual rights. The Constitution explains our fundamental freedoms, allowing citizens to exercise it while they hold the government accountable. Now, I'm not saying that the average American needs to memorize the Constitution word for word. That's extreme. But they can have a basic understanding of how it's structured in our government when it comes to legislative, executive, and judicial branches. The goal is for these 3 branches to interact with one another through the checks and balance system, preventing any one of them from becoming too powerful. The most famous part of the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, explains and guarantees our individual freedoms, such as the freedom of speech, press, petition, assembly, religion, and due process of law. The Constitution also encourages citizen participation, as it engages the citizen into the political process. When a citizen knows their rights and responsibilities, they can advocate for policies that align with constitutional values. The main reason why citizens need to know the Constitution and what's in it is so that they can stop corrupt politicians from taking away their rights and establishing unconstitutional laws. You have to know the rule book before you play the game. The second way a citizen can be a game changer is to exercise the right to vote. When somebody hears the word vote, the first thing that might come to their mind is the national presidential election. That's probably a common answer, but people can also vote at the local and state level as well. When you vote at the local level, you have a chance of a big impact at the national level too. In America's history, there were many changes to the Constitution regarding voting rights to include all citizens. An example of this would be the 15th Amendment, which allows all citizens, regardless of race, color, or previous servitude, to vote. The 19th Amendment was very monumental, as it allows women the right to vote. And lastly, the 26th Amendment lowered the voting age from 21 to 18. A key part of voting is staying informed. This means being educated on the current events and candidates to make a decision. When you go to the polls, you have the ability to hold the politicians accountable. They are aligned on your vote, and this is your chance for your voice to be heard. The Constitution states, "We the people," which means the people have the power. We understand what happens, and the best way we do that is when we vote. A great example of why it's important to vote would be the 2000 presidential election between Al Gore and George W. Bush. Bush was winning the election, but it came down to a tight race in Florida. It was so close that it ultimately went to the Supreme Court, where they voted in a 5-4 decision toward Bush. President Bush only won Florida by 537 votes, but this example shows why every vote matters. For me personally, I was able to vote in the last presidential election. As a first-time voter, I made sure to educate myself on the current events and candidates to make a decision. At school, my American politics teacher taught my class how the election process works. I was excited and looking forward to the upcoming days of the election. And there was also a sense of pride to finally partake in democracy. The third way a citizen can make a difference is to be involved in their local government. This is where citizens will find opportunities to get off the couch and into the game. Start local and get to know your neighbors and community by talking to one another about community concerns, even with people that you disagree with. You can join a local political group online or in person to show your support. Take the time to attend a school board meeting, community forum, or a city council session. Stay involved and read up on key events, and be educated on community concerns. Call elected officials to see how you can help. During elections, citizens are able to meet with the candidates and can even campaign for them. Some examples of this can be passing out flyers, talking to people during rallies, and even signing up to help at the polls and count mail ballots. These are just a few examples of how a person can be involved in the democratic process. But it shows that you care and are willing to go the extra mile in the community. Tragic events can happen anywhere, whether it be a natural disaster or an attack of some kind. Wherever the event occurs, the local area around it will gain national attention. Take California, for example. In January, wildfires were spreading throughout LA, and the whole country was watching to see how the local officials would respond. After the disaster, local residents asked themselves if the elected officials did enough to prepare for a fire and minimize the damage. So you have to know your elected officials and aware of the policies they support before disaster strikes. Another quote by President John F. Kennedy states, "For in a democracy, every citizen, regardless of their interest in politics, holds office. Every one of us is in a position of responsibility." In summary, the 3 ways an empowered citizen can get in the game is to know the rule book, the Constitution, exercise the right to vote, and to be involved in your local government. It doesn't take anything special, no degree required to volunteer. All it comes down to is who wants to be in the game and who wants to watch from the sidelines. I have learned this year, as many of you already know, that democracy is not a spectator sport. For me personally, I was involved in multiple sports and enjoyed being in the game. That is where I thrive. We have a chance as a country to thrive together. We, the people, have the power to influence the direction our country can go. Let's get in the game together. Thank you.
Right?
Let's start with government.
Good
Got
job.
my vote, Jackson.
That's for president.
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Those are the most actual qualifications.
I have Okay, item 3, report to mandate standing committees report. Any addition to that administrator report? Item B, any information reports? We should have board docs. Comments or questions from the floor? Anybody online?
Nothing there. No comments.
Okay, a motion to approve the minutes from the April 9th, 2025 regular meeting of the board. So moved. Motion by Mr. Councilman, second by Mr. Coon. Any discussion on the motion? Any negative votes, any abstentions, all in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Treasurer's report, Mr. Henderson.
This is a recommendation of the superintendent to the board to approve A, the treasurer's report as of April 30th, 2025, and B, investment report April 2025. I put that in form of a motion.
Second. Motion by Mr. Hammerschmidt, second by Mr. Kutzel. Any discussion on motions A or B? Any negative votes, any abstentions, all in favor? Aye. Motion's carried.
Approval of bill listing. This is a recommendation of the superintendent to the board to approve A, general fund bill listing for May 14th, 2025, and B, list of food service fund bills for May 14th, 2025. That's all. I put that in one motion, so.
Motion by Mr. Hammerschmidt, second by Mrs. Eldridge. Any discussion on motions A or B? Any negative votes, any abstentions? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Item 9, board personnel, Mrs. Sinceri.
There's a recommendation of the superintendent to approve, letter A, retirements, resignations. B, National Honor Society advisor. C, mentor teacher. D, assistant girls basketball coach. E, summer cleaners. F, professional development workshop seminars. And G, addition C, volunteer non-instructional substitute listing for 24-25. I put that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Sinceri, second by Mr. Kuth. Any discussion on the motions? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion's carried. Item 10, Committee of the Whole. I'll take item A, policy adoption, will be the second reading, policy 808. Item B, agreement with JDS Fitness and Sports Performance Center. Item C, remove from the table refuge removal service bid award. D, reject all bids for refuge removal service. E, PSBA Insurance Trust. F, Wrestling Co-op with Wilmington. G, depository treasurer, general fund. Depository for middle high school activities, that's item H. Item I is Matt Mangino for solicitor. Item J, auditing firm, McGill Power and Bell. K, advertising for bids for 25-26 school year. I'll stop at item L, summer programs. So moved. Motion by Mr. Kutzel, second by Mr. Kuth. Any discussion on the motions? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor? I'll start with item M. Volunteer Fire Department contributions. Item N, 2025-26 LCCTC budget. O, proposed à la carte pricing for 25-26 school year. P, VOAG students to attend Laurel High School from Slippery Rock. Item Q, supply bid awards. Item R, agreement with Cray Youth and Family Services. Item S, New Horizons North extended school year. Item T is Lawrence County Fairgrounds parking request. Item U is student teacher. Item V, field trips, student activity trips. And let's stop with that one.
You only have one left.
Do we have to do a roll call on that? Okay. Item W is a proposed final general budget, the first reading. Motion by Mr. Koo, second by Mrs. Eldridge. Any discussion on any of the motions? Any negative votes? Any abstentions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motions carries. Comments, questions from the floor relative to any non-agenda items? Any new business to see? We will have a short executive session for personnel right after this. Everyone will have further voting taken tonight, though. With that, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Press, second by Mr. Coos. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Meeting is adjourned.